Good day, everyone. I will be presenting the topic about RA 4274, which means Mining Engineering Law of the Philippines. So, what is RA 4274? An activity to regulate the practice of mining engineering, to provide for licensing and registration or personnel of mines and quarries, and for other purposes. Next is the composition of the board. The board shall be composed of 3 registered mining engineers, all to be appointed by the presidents of the Philippines. So next, the qualification of board members. The qualifications for board members in mining engineering in the Philippines include being a Filipino citizen, holding a relevant degree, being a registered mining engineer, having at least 10 years of experience, or 5 in mining engineer, not being affiliated with academic institution teaching mining-related courses, and being recommended by a recognized professional mining engineering society. So, the powers vested in the board. The Board of Examiners for Mining Engineers is vested with authority conformably with the provisions of this Act to administer oaths, to issue, suspend, and or revoke certificates of registration for the practice of mining engineering. So next, the compensation of the board. The members of the board shall each receive a compensation the minimum sum of 10 pesos for each applicant examined or registered without examination as mining engineer. Next is the submission of annual report. The board shall submit an annual report to the President after the close of each fiscal year, giving a detailed account of its proceedings during the year and making such recommendations as may be deemed proper. So next is the registration and examinations for mining engineers. So next is the exemption from registrations. Mining engineers hired by the Philippines government for foreign consultants employed by private firms may be exempt from registrations. Foreigners must submit their CV to the board before arrival and cannot engage in private practice independently. So next is the exemption from registration. The exemption from registration for mining engineers is valid for 6 months and can be renewed for another 6 months at the board's discretion. Additionally, registered mining engineers or certified mine, mill, or quarry foreman under Act Number 2985 are automatically recognized and allowed to retain their certificates. Next is the examinations required. Unless exempt as specifically allowed under the provisions of this Act, all applicants for registrations for the practice of mining engineering shall be required to undergo written examinations as provided in this Act. Next is the qualifications for examinations. To qualify for the mining engineering exam, a candidate must be at least 21, have good moral character, hold a relevant degree, and if a foreigner, their country must have reciprocity with the Philippines. Next, the date and scope of examinations. The mining engineering examinations is held on the second Monday of January and July each year. It covers 4 subjects. First is the mining engineering, economics, laws, and ethics, 40%. Next is the metallurgy, ore dressing, and assaying, 20%. Next, geology and surveying, 20%. Next, applied mathematics, 20%. Next is the report of examinations result. The Board of Examiners for Mining Engineers shall within 90 days after the examinations report the ratings obtained by each candidate to the Commissioner of Civil Service. Next is the issuance of certificates. The Board of Examiners for Mining Engineers can issue certificates of registrations without examination within 2 years of the approval of the Amendatory Act. Applicants must be Filipino citizens or from a country with reciprocity with the Philippines. Next, have good moral character. Next, hold a Bachelor of Science in Mining Engineering or BSEM obtained on or before 1942 from recognized institutions and have at least 10 years of mining practice. Next is the fees for examinations and registrations. Every applicant for examinations as mining engineer shall pay a minimum fee of 50 pesos. An applicant for registration as mining engineer without examination shall pay a minimum fee of 100 pesos. And applicants for registrations for mine and or quarry foreman 20 pesos. Next is the reprimand, suspensions, and revocation of certificates. The board, after due hearing, shall have the power to reprimand any registrant, suspend or revoke his certificate of registrations for any cause. Next, reissue of revoked certificate and replacement of lost certificate. A new certificate of registrations to replace any certificate lost, destroyed, or mutilated may be issued subject to the rules prescribed by the board. Next is the personnel required in mineral exploitations and OR quarrying. First, 25 persons but not more than 50 persons for the entire operations directly engaged in mining and or quarrying operations. A registered foreman is required. Second, over 50 persons but not more than 100 persons for the entire operations directly engaged in mining and or quarrying operations. Third, 25 persons but not more than 75 persons per ships. Last, over 75 persons per ship directly engaged in mining and or quarrying operations shall require a registered foreman and a registered mining engineer for each shift. Thank you and God bless.